Well, it was nice to be able to forget for 1 week just how bad the Atlanta Falcons are at winning football games. But today was, I would say, a pretty good reality check on just who the Atlanta Falcons actually are. They are a team that cannot win football games, whether it is against a good team like the New England Patriots or the Indianapolis Colts, or one of the worst teams in the league like the New York Jets. The Falcons, they just cannot find a way to win close games. And it's been something that has cost the Falcons all year, but has also exposed the Atlanta Falcons as what they truly are, as a bad football team. Losing today to the New York Jets 27 to 24 in MetLife Stadium. And I got to be completely honest, heading into this game, it really, I don't think, was about getting into any serious playoff contention if you won this game. But this is a game that you had to win if you wanted to salvage any possible hope going into December, anything to look forward to. And for Raheem Morris to be able to salvage his job. Now, whether it happens sooner or later, I've heard some reports it could potentially be coming pretty soon. I've heard other reports it could wait until the end of the season. If the nail in the coffin wasn't already put in, this has to do it for Raheem Morris. You can't come out in a season, lose 30 to nothing to the Panthers in week 3, lose to the Dolphins by 24 at home week 8, get swept by the Panthers, and Carolina's having a really good year, so does that look as bad now considering where Carolina's year has gone with their big win today, especially over the Rams, and where our year currently is? No. But when you have these bad losses, a loss to the Patriots you easily could have won, a loss to the Colts, and then you lose a game today that you had no business losing. The Jets really, you could kind of tell, they didn't come fully to win this game. They just kind of came to hang around, and the Falcons ultimately ended up handing them an early Christmas gift with a win. It has to be the final nail in the coffin for Raheem Morris. When you look at the 5 games remaining, the Falcons, probably in all honesty, maybe outside of the second game against the Saints at home, are not going to have a chance in any of these games. Will probably be underdogs in all of these games. So there's really no point, I think, in waiting. However, I fear that just like Arthur Blank has always done, he's going to ride it out until the end of the year, especially with Raheem Morris getting that win last Sunday versus New Orleans and kind of taking everyone's mind off of just for a week how bad this team is by being able to beat the Saints. I fear that he has earned his way to the end of the season. But hopefully he hasn't. Hopefully Arthur Blank will make a change. Hopefully he will finally decide that enough is enough and Raheem Morris has to go. But this was a game that the Falcons had no business in losing. And looking at the offensive side of the ball, the offense didn't necessarily play bad. Kirk Cousins, I think all things considered, played an alright game. Bijan Robinson absolutely went off today. Kyle Pitts had a pretty good game considering all the mess that has been thrown his way the past couple of weeks, the bad drops he's had and all that. We saw guys like Devin Tompkins get the ball, which the fact that a guy like Devin Tompkins is even a feature guy in your offense also, I think raises very big questions about the depth that has been built around this team. Same with David Sills, who did have his second straight touchdown in 2 games today. So, all things considered, the offense didn't play bad, but when you needed them most, they weren't able to come through. This idea that Kirk Cousins, coming in as a veteran, he would be able to lead these game winning drives, he would be able to really take this offense by the mantle and be able to will them to victories. We didn't see it today. We didn't see it against one of the worst teams in the NFL, a team that has not made the playoffs in nearly 15 years, and a team that has been absolutely god awful all season. They were 0-7 to start the year, and the Falcons just let them get their third win in like the last 5 or so games that they have played. And the offense, needless to say, they showed flashes, but ultimately they didn't do enough when it mattered most. But the offense didn't lose us this game also, because at the end of the day, you had our defense out there who you just asked time and time again, and we've asked them time and time again this season to get one stop at the end of the game, and they can't. Now, you can't blame the defense entirely because they have definitely shown a lot of flashes this year. This is still the best Falcons defense that we have seen in many, many years. But the defense today, it also felt like they really did play down to the Jets. It did not feel like that they came out and they played to their full potential. They let Tyrod Taylor really throw all over them, have one of his best games he's had in several years, and that set the Jets up to kick a game-winning field goal from 56 yards out. It was a very ugly day in New York. Rain was coming down all day. This should have been a spot where really both sides of the ball on offense really shouldn't have been doing a whole lot, but you should not have been letting the Jets without Garrett Wilson. And you really, I mean, at the end of the day, Breece Hall had 19 carries, 68 yards, and a touchdown. And at the end of the day, that's not, I mean, that isn't terrible, but you still couldn't stop them when it mattered most. But I still don't even think you can blame the defense for this, because it was the special teams that lost the Atlanta Falcons this game. And I swear to God, if we do not get Jamal Agnew off of this team tomorrow, I really think I'm going to explode, because the fact that he has been such a liability, he has not contributed anything positively at all this season to the Falcons, and he is still out there returning kicks, is beyond me. He muffed a punt in the second quarter, which allowed the Jets to score the first points of the game that ended up coming back and biting you in the end. And then you let up a long return to them in the second half that, even though you held them to just a field goal, ended up being very, very crucial in the end. So it's just absolutely mind-boggling how this team all season, we have not been able to see them put consistent performances together that were positive. The only consistent thing the Falcons have done this season is lose. We saw them just come off a 5-game losing streak. They lost today. They are 1-6 in their last 7 games. And for any other organization, that would do it. A major change would be made, but unfortunately for the Atlanta Falcons, because Arthur Blank is too scared to make a move, is too scared to ruffle feathers, we may not see that move happen until the end of the season. I hope that this one report that I did see, that Raheem Morris could end up being fired as soon as tomorrow, is true, but at the end of the day, I'm just not putting stock into it. Raheem Morris should have been fired after the loss to the Panthers a couple weeks ago, and he wasn't. So at the end of the day, there's really not much else that you can do. It would not shock me one bit if it comes around to 4 o'clock tomorrow and Raheem Morris is standing up there at that podium still as head coach. It's going to make me want to rip my hair out. Going to make all of y'all want to rip your hair out. But at the end of the day, that's the reality we're faced with. The Falcons, they are complacent with where they are. They are showing this time and time again. And until some real change is actually made, until we actually see the effort from the top, nothing is going to change on what happens out on the football field, because everything is a trickle-down effect from ownership to the structure, Rich McKay still being involved. What role has Terry Fontenot played? Raheem Morris should have never been hired as the head coach, and it reflects on how the players go out on the field and play. They don't go out with a sense of urgency. We don't see them put good quality, consistent performances together, and it's what is holding this team back. This is the talent of a playoff team. You have Bijan Robinson, one of the best players in the NFL, who went out and showed yet again why he's one of the best players in the NFL today. You have Tyler Algier, who has 8 touchdowns on the year. You have Drake London, who is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. You have some young defensive stars in Walker and Pierce and Watts is coming together. You hope to get Bowman back. You got pieces. But as long as you are held back from coaching and you can't get the quarterback right, which is a front office thing, this team is never going to actually be good. And that's just a hard reality. But at the end of the day, today was just another exhibit. It wasn't a new low. It was just another add on in the embarrassment we have seen from the Falcons over the course of the past 10 or so years. But I do want to give out some game balls real quick. I do think these two players deserve it. First of all, Bijan Robinson was an absolute stud yet again today in the rushing game. 23 carries, 142 yards, and a touchdown. Receiving wise, 5 catches, 51 yards. It was absolutely sensational today. And, honestly, you really hate it for a guy like Bijan Robinson, someone who goes out there every week. He pours his all out into this team, and they can't repay him. Going over to the defense side of the ball, James Pierce Jr., he had a sack today. You really see it start coming together for Pierce, and you've seen it overall come together this season for this pass rush. That has been really one of the only qualities this season. So the fact that the defense and the pass rush wasn't able to even shut down the Jets today, you really can't even get mad at it because you have seen so many times this year the defense give you stellar performance after stellar performance and you can't turn them in and you can't repay them. That goes to show you this is a dysfunctional team. They're not consistent. They're never in sync. And when you lose to a team like the New York Jets, it's a very big issue, and something's got to change. But we've known that for the longest time. With that being said, appreciate everyone for watching. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, remember to share out. We have 5 games left this season, and whether a change happens or not is to be seen. But regardless of what happens, I will be here the rest of the season and beyond, talking about the Falcons, repping the Atlanta Falcons, but it's very hard to do right now when the Falcons aren't giving us a lot of good to talk about. But take care, everyone. I will see you all in the next video.